Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're covering a massive breaking story that's sending shockwaves around the world. The United States has captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro following large-scale military strikes on Venezuela. The international response? Absolutely divided. Let's break it down. So here's what happened. On Saturday, U.S. forces launched major strikes on Venezuela and captured President Maduro along with his wife. They've been removed from the country and face drug trafficking charges in New York. This is unprecedented, folks. President Trump says the U.S. will run Venezuela until there can be a safe, proper, and judicious transition. But the global reaction? It's all over the map. Let me break this down by regions, starting with the closest neighbors. Latin American leaders are furious. Brazil's President Lula wrote on X that the actions cross an unacceptable line and warned this is the first step toward a world of violence, chaos, and instability. Colombia's President Gustavo Petro called it an assault on the sovereignty of Latin America. Chile's President Gabriel Boric expressed concern and condemnation. Cuba went even harder, with President Miguel Diaz-Canel calling it a criminal attack. And here's the thing. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is already hinting that Cuba could be next, calling it a disaster run by incompetent leaders who backed Maduro. Uruguay officially stated they reject military intervention, as they always have. But there's one major exception. Argentina's President Javier Milei, who Trump calls his favorite president, posted "Freedom moves forward" and "Long live freedom." So not everyone in the region is against this. Now let's talk about the big players. China said it was deeply shocked and strongly condemns the use of force against a sovereign country and its president. Russia accused the U.S. of committing an act of armed aggression. Iran, which is dealing with Trump's threats of intervention against them, called the strikes a flagrant violation of national sovereignty. Over in Europe, it's complicated. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said his government would shed no tears for the end of Maduro's regime. He didn't condemn the strikes, but said the UK wasn't involved, and he's waiting to establish all the facts. He called himself a lifelong advocate of international law, but wouldn't say if this broke it. France's Macron said the transition must be peaceful, democratic, and respectful of the will of the Venezuelan people. Germany's chancellor called the legality complex and warned against political instability. Norway was blunt. The American intervention in Venezuela is not in accordance with international law. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is deeply concerned that international law wasn't respected and called the strikes a dangerous precedent. He's calling for inclusive dialogue. The EU's top diplomat reiterated that Maduro lacks legitimacy, but that international law must be respected. Israel's Netanyahu congratulated Trump on bold and historic leadership. Canada called on all parties to respect international law and said they're engaging with international partners. Host, even in the U.S. there's pushback. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, a Democrat, said, "Let me be clear, Maduro is an illegitimate dictator, but launching military action without congressional authorization, without a plan for what comes next, is reckless." So even domestically, this isn't a unified decision. Inside Venezuela, Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello is urging citizens to stay calm, trust the military, and says the world needs to speak out about this attack. This story is still developing, and the implications are massive. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. I'll see you in the next one.